What's going on, Wolfpack? My name is Jim, and time again for another wolfofbricks.com update. And this, of course, is where we talk about LEGO investing and reselling. So when I first started this channel about a year ago, I said to myself, you know what? I have an idea. Why don't I do a silver update once a month? Well, guess what? I did one silver update, and that was, to this day, the lowest viewed video that I have on the channel. So I said to myself, let's not do that again. Even though I think it's good information, this is, of course, a different audience. But I do want to point one thing out that might interest you. Right now, you're looking at providentmetals.com. And of course, this is the 2022 British Britannia. I have this here because we all know Queen Elizabeth has recently died. And next year, King Charles should be on the reverse of the Britannia. I'm going to go ahead and show what the obverse looks like, which is a great looking coin. I have owned many Britannias for some time. It's not my favorite one, but the high relief on it, I mean, it's just spectacular. But anyway, I'm just mentioning it because King Charles is 70 years old-ish. I think he might be on the dot 70. I'm sure he's going to be king for a while. His health seems good. But that doesn't mean the first coin that he will be on won't be extremely hoarded. So there are a lot of LEGO people I've met that are also gold and silver people, right? Which is cool. There's a lot of commonality between the two, right? So if you're one of those people that like to dip your toes in both LEGO and gold and silver, this is just something that you may want to consider purchasing next year. This is definitely something I'm going to consider because these could be over-hoarded. And even if they're just somewhat over-hoarded, it's the first year that there is a new king or queen on the reverse of a coin. So it is something to, as a collector, you may want. Now just to show you, I have pulled up on Google Images, copies of US pennies that really aren't that old, right? I mean, these have been out maybe a couple years ago, but you never see these pennies. And these are just regular, pennies that are used by just every American, right? And you never see them being handed out in cafes or stores or wherever, just because they're over hoarded. You just get that standard one reverse that everybody is familiar with, right? So, there is a lot of hoarding out there on different, whether it's LEGO or coins. So just wanted to go ahead and share with you a potential opportunity when it comes to the 2023 British Britannia 1 ounce silver coin. And because we're talking gold and silver, just wanted to point out that my favorite generic round is the Provident Metals Prospector round. And my favorite silver bar that I've always had is the 1 kilo poured bar. Now, you could pick any brands. As long as it's a poured bar, I just go for the cheapest one. But just wanted to share with everybody a little bit of gold and silver. All right, so one of the goals of this channel, if you don't know, is to not waste your time, right? We're going to be talking about 3 themes that have sets that are retiring. I'm just pointing out a couple that I really like. It doesn't mean that there are sets out there that I don't like, but these are the ones that I like a little bit more than others. And the themes we'll be going over, of course, is Technic, Speed Champions, and BrickHeadz. So the first one is the Technic Land Rover Defender. Now, it's really funny, right? When this set first came out, everybody was talking about it and everybody was scooping it up, right? You could have got it on Zavvi for, I want to say $40 off. Like, I think this at one time was going for like $130. You could have snagged it at. Great deal. Now, of course, it would have been sitting on your shelf for a while. It doesn't mean this set isn't going to be discounted as we get closer towards the year, but I don't think the discounts will be as good as they have in the past. But this is a really cool set, and of course, Land Rovers are quite expensive vehicles, so it means those owners have more money to go ahead and purchase sets just like this. But again, a very great looking vehicle in a LEGO set that a lot of people went after when it first came out. There wasn't as much mania around it as the Back to the Future DeLorean, but there was a lot of chatter, which is funny because you just don't see that chatter anymore, right? This is Monster Jam Max D. Now, I've done a whole video on Monster Jam sets. You could go ahead and feel free to check it out in the archives. But I really love these sets, and I really think that there's a lot of great opportunity that comes with it. And again, you could go ahead and see it in the archives. And this set right here, the Ford F-150 Raptor. Now here's the deal. If you don't know already, which you should, I am not a fan of obnoxious colors, right? And this is a obnoxious looking orange. But it's a great, other than that, it is a great looking vehicle. Don't have my personal preference on color sway you away from any decision you make. But that being said, even though I can't stand the color, I really like this truck. I think this is a cool truck. This is the first F-150 made by LEGO. I believe there's a huge collectability factor involved when it comes to the Ford Mustangs. And not to mention, you know, people collect Ford anything, right? People will have, you know, Ford everything in their garages, right? So this is something whenever you're deal hunting this Q4 to keep an eye out for, because there's a chance you might be able to get it for $80 come a Black Friday weekend. So here's the deal. There's only going to be one Speed Champion sets that is my pick. And of course, I'm partial to Corvettes, but let me tell you, and this is the first time I think I've actually seen this set built. And this set looks so amazing. Now, I love this set before I've seen it built. And there are a lot of other Speed Champion sets out there. And I've always said, you know, if you're going to purchase Speed Champion sets, it may be a good idea to just play the field, right? And get 3 of each instead of, you know, 20 of one. That is a good strategy. But if someone were to put a gun to my head and say, Jim, which one do you think is going to be the best Speed Champion set? I definitely think it's going to be this one right here. Now, we're going to talk about BrickHeadz because we don't talk about BrickHeadz too often, right? But I have said in the past that anytime there are 2 figured characters in a BrickHeadz, they will tend to do better when it comes to an ROI than a BrickHead that is figured that is just by itself. And this, I mean, I like this set right here. This is a classic set that everybody is familiar with in these 2 characters. And this set looks amazing as it's built. The Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote is timeless. And the good thing about it is it's not one of those $9.99 sets, but there are a couple $9.99 sets that we will be talking about. And this is the first one. This is Lady Liberty. Now, there's something about this set for me, right? I mean, it kind of reminds me, now hear me out, please. It kind of reminds me of, like, that Santa BrickHeadz, right? This is a character that everybody is familiar with, and this should be extremely popular. Now, this also takes me back to whenever, if you were to do some due diligence and look back at the LEGO architecture sets, there are so many New York themed architecture sets that just make money hand over fist. And I'm putting this into that category, even though it's not an architecture set. This is a set that will do really well whenever people go on trips or class trips or vacations. This is one of the few times that I could potentially see this $9.99 set do maybe one day $35 or $40. So it's a great looking set. It's easy to store on your shelves. Keep that in mind. And if you haven't purchased any BrickHeadz in your inventory, this may be one that you should consider. This right here, of course, is the Demogorgon N11. Now here's the deal. I understand this is an exclusive, but I don't know if this would be my first choice. And the reason why that is because everybody's going to be wanting to get this, right? And it shouldn't be too difficult. But because it is a small price point, these things should fly like crazy. So it really shouldn't be too much of an issue when it comes to having this set on your shelf. This is a set that should do well, even though it will be hoarded. But this is not a set that I believe you will need to keep on your shelves for 2 to 3 years. And this right here is going to be an honorable mention. It used to be a set that I was in love with and I couldn't wait to buy, but things have changed. And this is the Buzz Lightyear BrickHeadz set. And the reason why I say that was because the movie honestly wasn't that good. And I'm not talking about the silly controversy with whatever was going on at the beginning of the movie. The writing was terrible. It did not meet its expectations. Disney knows that. Parents know that, right? So if this was a set that just came out right after the last Toy Story movie, maybe with the last wave of the Toy Story 4 sets, I think this set would do amazing. And I'm not saying this set won't do amazing, but I think if the movie that came out was a lot better than what it actually was, this would have been off to the races. I still think it will perform well, but it might take a little bit more time to do so. All right, my friends, we knocked out 3 retiring themes in record time. I hope you appreciate that I don't like to waste anybody's time. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Once again, I'm Jim with wolfofbricks.com. Always go out there and get it.